to start things off with Diego De La Hoya taking on Miguel Tamayo. And if the last name sounds familiar, it should. Diego is the first cousin of Oscar De La Hoya. Let's go to the tail of the tape, Paulie Malignaggi. Walk us through the numbers. What stands out to you?
Well, Brian, the first thing that really jumps out at you is Diego's only 19 years old. Tamayo is 30 years old. Now, an advantage for Tamayo might be that he's got the more man strength, so to speak. He's got the more physically developed body. But Diego De La Hoya has that youthful excitement. He's got that speed. He's the younger man. He's more energetic. So it's going to be something for Tamayo to have to deal with. We'll see how he deals with it tonight.
Both men are in the center of the ring. Let's get the official introduction. Here's Joe Martinez.
But all fight fans, here we go. 6 rounds, this scheduled in the featherweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing black trunks trimmed in purple, he weighed in officially 122 pounds. This veteran brings 14 victories, 8 defeats, 2 draws, and 12 wins by way of knockout into the ring tonight. De la Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, Mexico, here is Miguel Tamayo. And next his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing blue, trimmed in gold, he weighed in officially 124 pounds even. This young professional is perfect in his campaign in the ring. 5 bouts with 5 victories. No defeats, 4 wins coming by way of knockout. De Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico, El Invicto. Here is the Golden Kid, Diego De La Hoya. Referee in charge of the action is Russell Mora.
Okay, gentlemen, trunks here good, trunks here good. Aquí está bien, aquí está bien. Acuérdense, quiero una pelea limpia. Dios los bendiga, toquen guantes.
Well, the Golden Kid, Diego De La Hoya, taking on Miguel Tamayo. You see De La Hoya there, first cousin of Oscar De La Hoya, the Hall of Famer. He says with that name comes a lot of responsibility. Tamayo says and knows a victory tonight will change his life. Let's see what happens. Round 1. De La Hoya in the blue trunks. Tamayo in the black trunks. And De La Hoya comes right out. Pops him with a right hand.
That's what you want to look for when you fight the southpaws. You know, a chance to open up for the right hands, and De La Hoya trying to get into that rhythm right away. And as you saw, counter right hand off the jab of Tamayo.
De La Hoya, of course, trained by Joel Diaz. So the one way to describe him, explosive.
He's shown himself to be explosive thus far in his career. But here he's got almost a veteran of some sorts. You know, Tamayo has lost every time he's stepped up, but he's been in the ring with some pretty good fighters. He's never beaten them. He's gotten some wins over less than stellar opposition, but he's got that experience in the ring, and so he'll make De La Hoya think a little bit. And you know, this is the kind of learning experience fights that make you better if you come through with victories. One thing you learn about these kind of opponents, you have to learn to be patient. You got to set them up to get them out of there. You can't just get them out of there like that.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that because Tamayo said he expects De La Hoya to come right after him. He said he wants to be patient and really just box.
You know, Tamayo, again, he's going to use that savvy veteran experience that he has. I mean, you know, he may not be the best fighter in the world, but he has that experience. He's more professional experience than does Diego De La Hoya. De La Hoya, there was a nice combination there, but De La Hoya is also used to that amateur style still where, you know, you're almost rushing your work and you're trying to compact all that work into a short amount of time. So it's fights like this where, you know, you win them and you try to look good and you try to learn that patient approach as well.
Go! Coming up about a minute left here in round 1. These guys are going 6.
You see, Tamayo just has the ability to make De La Hoya miss here and there, you know, and again, that's going to show you that De La Hoya can't just land when he wants to and get him out of there. He's going to have to set up Tamayo. And again, it's part of that patience. I think there's a nice combination there.
Yeah, 3-punch combination by De La Hoya.
Tamayo shaking his head, you know, he's going to let him know that I'm going to be here for a while. So again, up to De La Hoya to react correctly here.
De La Hoya's trainer, Joel Diaz, said important thing for De La Hoya is the first round. Tamayo's got some pop too. Go along with that 14-8 record. There's another two-punch combination there by De La Hoya. Finishes it off with a right hand.
Takes a good shot too.
That's the round. This broadcast of Golden Boy on Fox is brought to you by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina, and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. And of course, we talked about that De La Hoya name. It comes with a lot of responsibility. Here's the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Jessica Rosales. Jess?
Definitely a name game out there tonight, guys. Diego De La Hoya says his last name has opened up plenty of doors for him, but he has had to really fight to make his own name. He's working on blazing his own trail and, of course, making his own legacy, fighting guys with more experience like Tamayo, who's got 4 times the pro fights under his belt. And Tamayo says that beating someone like Diego De La Hoya with that name tonight could change his career. So you got one guy trying to prove that he's more than just a name and another trying to prove that he's a name to be recognized.
All right, Jess, thank you very much. Tamayo, of course, has lost 4 of his last 5. His last fight, he was stopped in the 4th round by Gary Russell Jr. That was earlier this year. De La Hoya talked a lot in that fighter meeting, Paulie, too, about the responsibility, as you heard Jessica just talk about, that comes with that name. But he says, you know, it's so much pressure because you're a walking target.
Yeah,
when you step in the ring, everyone wants to take your block off.
There's pros and cons to having a famous last name in professional sports and in boxing for even more. You know, you see a lot of former champions have their younger relatives turn pro or their kids or whatnot. And at first, it's an advantage. You're getting more hype than maybe a normal prospect will. But in the end, as the more success you gain, it starts to become a disadvantage because if you become a big name, now your accolades will be measured against your older relatives' accolades. So for right now, Diego can enjoying the De La Hoya name. But as he moves up the ladder, he's right. I mean, it's going to be more pressure for him because he's going to have to live up to a lot. Oscar De La Hoya, his name is synonymous with boxing, so Diego has the same last name.
Minute gone by here in the 2nd round. He's even talked a lot about how it's motivated him to work even harder. He's had to work even harder because of that last name.
Yeah, you don't want to tarnish the name. You know, you want to keep living up to it. You know, Oscar has a tremendous reputation, so you want to kind of follow in his footsteps and not tarnish the De La Hoya name. And so Diego almost feels that responsibility, but it's good that he feels that responsibility because it's going to make him want to be great.
You can see the explosiveness. De La Hoya, there's a right hand that connects to Tamayo. There's a left body shot.
And that's good. That's some savvy moves there by Diego because, you know, he sees that Tamayo's taking a good shot to the head and then he try to soften him up to the body and then go back up to the head later on.
Yeah, 2-punch combination there. Finish it off with a right hand to Tamayo.
And this is what I mean about the experience. You're thinking your way through. Opponents like this force you to think, and so you're gaining experience and you're getting better without realizing it, all the while winning the fight.
Under a minute here in the 2nd round. De La Hoya been the more active fighter thus far.
You see he's trying to move over to his left, which is trying to keep his foot on the outside of Tamayo's right foot, and that's the chess game almost you play when you're playing, or as a right-hander, you're fighting a southpaw. It's that feet positioning. A lot of times, whoever has the better positioning will have the advantage offensively.
Right hand by De La Hoya. Another combination to end the round by De La Hoya. Welcome back. Golden Boy live here on Fox Sports 1. Speaking of the Golden Boy, sitting front and center there watching his first cousin, Diego De La Hoya, taking on Miguel Tamayo.
Tamayo came out with a more aggressive body language this round. Let's see how Diego deals with this.
He's almost laid back in the first couple of rounds trying to counter.
Yeah, I think he was trying to see just what the level of prospect Diego is, if he could handle him in the ring. And then now he's decided, okay, let me try to get aggressive. As Diego gets aggressive back and pushes him to the canvas.
Yeah. You know, Tamayo's got a little bit of pop. He's 14-8, 12 knockouts.
But the guys he's knocked out have not been at this level, so if he could hurt a guy like this, I mean, it would really be a feather in his hat.
Absolutely. He just eats a left from De La Hoya. De La Hoya's an ambitious kid, a lot like his cousin. Says by the end of the year, he'd like to fight 7 to 8 times.
He's got the right idea. You want to stay busy. Early in your career is when you have the chance to fight more often and stay busy and kind of keep your name out there in the press.
One of the interesting things, he says he envisions one day a title fight against the WBC champion Leo Santa Cruz.
Got high expectations.
Yeah, very high, doesn't he?
You know, a lot of times you don't realize when you have this little fights that by the time you get up there, those champions are gone, or maybe they've moved up in weight.
Yeah.
Sometimes they've been knocked off. You know, so best thing for De La Hoya is to take one fight at a time. And right now he's got a more aggressive Miguel Tamayo here in round 3.
Yeah, left hand by De La Hoya. Tamayo connected with a combination. You saw De La Hoya say, bring it, let's go, let's fight. Then, combinations by both guys as they both dig to the body. Oh, good right uppercut. Tamayo shakes it off.
I like Diego's punch selection. He mixes it up well to the body, to the head. He steps around, which is important to kind of change the angle and also protect himself.
And of course, tonight's CompuBack Stats brought to you by ThrowdownFantasy.com. Draft fighters, track stats, and win. You take a look. De La Hoya connected on 35% of his punches as he connects with a left to the body there to Tamayo. Tamayo's had some problems with his footing. He's slipped a couple of times already in this fight.
Yeah. Sometimes the left-hander and right-hander, they get their feet tangled up.
Right hand and a left by De La Hoya. You're watching Golden Boy live here on Fox.
Next round, both guys got really aggressive with the power shots, and you see as De La Hoya stepped back just to set up room for that right uppercut. And that's again, he's thinking in there. As Tamayo stepped in, De La Hoya had the presence of mind to take that half step back, so the room remained for him to be able to punch and throw that uppercut.
We're halfway through this fight. Tamayo's come out with some aggressiveness. De La Hoya's countered.
I like the way the young man thinks. De La Hoya, he's aggressive, he fights, but he's also thinking his way through. Again, with going back to the replay, had he not stepped back, that uppercut would have been smothered. So it was imperative of him. It was imperative that he did step back, and it was an intelligent move.
Uses that jab, set up that right hand to Tamayo. Here comes Tamayo now. In the center of the ring, good left hook. Rocks Tamayo's jaw. Body shot by De La Hoya. These guys are right in the center of the ring, going toe-to-toe here.
See, De La Hoya is throwing. He's not able to land everything cleanly, and at times he looks frustrated. But I like that he's remaining with the jab and he's setting up the punches. He's not getting wild, nonetheless, even though he is getting aggressive.
Another combination by De La Hoya.
He throws a nice combination, but they don't all land, and that's why Tamayo is still standing.
He's got Tamayo on the ropes. Three-punch combination by De La Hoya.
Tamayo gave him a nod as if saying, I approve of the combinations, but I'm still here. What do you want to do about it? And De La Hoya keeps obliging and keeps throwing more.
Yeah, you talked about realistic expectations. We talked a little bit about how De La Hoya would love to have a championship fight against Santa Cruz, and he says he can see down the line him fighting a guy we're going to see here coming up next, Jojo Diaz, and that would be a heck of a fight.
Yeah, and again, these are fights that we're talking about down the line, because fighters like that start fighting each other, there's going to be a lot of money in the table, and there'll be bigger fights. There'll be high-paying fights. The trick first is for both guys to get where they're supposed to be, where they're expected to be. And the key to getting there is winning fights like this, and not only winning them, but looking good, impressive, and learning on the way up.
Another three-punch combination by De La Hoya. Couple of right hands. Under 10 seconds. Right hand by De La Hoya. Round 5 when
we see some action from the last round as Diego throws a big left hand inside on the end of a combination. And here's the nod from Tamayo, kind of letting Diego know, okay, I approve of these combinations, but I'm still standing. And of course, Diego keeps obliging and throwing more combinations.
This is round 5 here. These guys are going 6. Let's see if De La Hoya really starts to turn it up. In our fighter meetings, his trainer Joe Diaz says, you know, De La Hoya knows he's got someone hurt. He has that look, and he just goes after him. And he told him in between the rounds, go after Tamayo. There's a three-punch combination by Tamayo.
Yeah, and every once in a while, Tamayo lets him know, hey, I'm still here, and I'm still a live dog, you know?
Minute gone here in round 5. Three-punch combination. De La Hoya finishes it off with a right. Halfway through this round.
Again, this is almost a step up for Diego. He's been stopping guys. He's done this once in his career, but Tamayo, not a killer by any means, but at the same time, the veteran experience he has is forcing Diego to think his way through the fight. He's not just a guy that, hey, I'm going to throw my best offense at him and he's going to go down and I'm going to get the stop.
Oh, big right hand. That made him stumble.
And there's a good right hand there, like you said, Brian. But again, Tamayo remains calm. He's used to fighting these good fighters too.
Another right hand. De La Hoya's got Tamayo against the ropes. We're under a minute.
And this is where you test your finishing skills right here, because
left hand rocks Tamayo.
Tamayo is a veteran. He knows how to survive these moments. If you get him out of there, it's a wrinkle in your hat.
40 seconds now left in this round. Two big shots have already hurt him. There's another big right. And that's it.
Tamayo complaining, but he was getting hit clean. You know, he was getting hit clean. You can't show the referee that you're taking these shots like that. Even if you're okay, the referee can't know 100% if you're okay. He sees your neck snapping back like that, your head snapping back like that. He's going to do what he has to do. He's going to stop the fight. Yeah. It's up to Tamayo as the fighter to show the referee that he can protect himself and not take those shots, and he wasn't doing that.
Russell Mora put an end to this one. Diego De La Hoya. This is his 6th professional fight. You can add another knockout, another stoppage to that record. You know, it was interesting. We talked at the very beginning of this round. Joe Diaz says, De La Hoya, when he has that look and he knows he's got someone hurt, he lets him loose, and that's exactly what he did in this round.
Yeah, and again, he landed some good shots, and then he went for the finisher. But again, he remained patient. He didn't smother himself. I like that he left his punching distance enough where he could get leverage on his shots. And at the end, I'm not sure how much Tamayo was hurt, but it was just constant heavy artillery landing, constant clean punches landing, and Russell Mora is going to step in and stop the fight. He can't allow you to keep taking shots like that.
Tonight's CompuBox Stats brought to you by ThrowdownFantasy.com. Draft fighters, track stats, and win. You take a look here at the numbers, and boy, I mean, De La Hoya just dominated this, landed 37% of his punches compared to Tamayo, and most of those were big punches.
Yeah, most of those big
power
punches. And also aggressive punches. You know, he followed up a lot. He didn't just land them. He would throw those and then follow up with another combination. a little recap of the fight here in round 3, some action. As again, there's the uppercut we talked about earlier. Notice Diego stepping back, so he created room for it. You know, had he not stepped back, he would have smothered the punch. Here you see a right hand over the top, and then we move on to round 5. Again, it's a sharp, straight right hand by Diego. Here he has Tamayo up against the ropes and working him. See, he's working him. See how he creates room again, this time by pushing Tamayo off. And again, I like how he keeps his opponent on the end of the punches. He's not smothering himself. He's not throwing from too far away. It's proper punching distance where you can maximize the leverage on your shots. And that's why Diego got the finisher right there.
Another win and another stoppage for Diego De La Hoya. Let's get the official time of this stoppage. Let's go to the ring. Here's Joe Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes officially at the time of 2 minutes, 27 seconds, round number 5. Referee Russell Mora puts a halt to the contest. Your winner by TKO victory and still undefeated, the Golden Kid, Diego De La Hoya.
Well, the cousin of Oscar De La Hoya doing him proud as he watched ringside. What do you think about the Golden Kid?
You know, it was a step in the right direction. This was a good fight for him, a good win for him, and a good stoppage for him. You know, Miguel Tamayo, in his last fight, fought Gary Russell. Gary Russell just fought for the world title in his last fight. So he fought a guy with 20-plus fights. Now Diego De La Hoya is fighting him in just his 6th pro fight. So Diego up the fast track, on the fast track.
We are in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, and we got a lot more action coming up. Joseph Jojo Diaz, Ramiro Robles. It's next on Golden Boy Live here on Fox.